Well, here I am in South Dakota, and let me tell you, I'm very excited to be here. I'm excited because I'll be hunting with my good friend Pat West of Dakota Ranch Outfitters. But I'm also excited because the object of my pursuit on this bow hunt is giant mule deer. Now, anyone who has ever played this game knows how it's done. The basic strategy involves finding a buck and then putting a stalk on that deer. And that's exactly what's going on here. I've spotted 2 giant bucks bedded under this cottonwood tree. But then cameraman Brock Pulver and I run into a problem. This small buck suddenly appears and pins us down. What's worse, he's heading straight for the cottonwood the 2 big bucks are bedded under. Now it's obvious from my body language that I know exactly what's going to happen next, and it ain't good. All I can do is watch as the 2 giant bucks disappear over a distant hilltop. At this point, I think it's game over. But my guide, Brandon West, says he knows where the deer are heading. According to Brandon, these bucks are headed for a water tank located on the backside of a tall earthen dam. If we hurry, we should be able to get ahead of them and set up an ambush behind the dam. As Brandon predicted, we do get to the dam ahead of the group of muleys, and unbelievably, the biggest buck is in the lead. We watch excitedly as the trophy deer cuts the distance to just 60 yards. But then our luck does another 180. 2 muley does that were bedded just 50 yards off to our left suddenly stand up and give us away. It takes the giant buck only a few seconds to decide he'd be better off elsewhere. Over the next couple days, we see dozens of muley bucks, but we just can't seem to put together an effective stalk. On the 4th day, Pat and Brandon suggest we try something different. They want us to make a slow sneak hunt through a 2-mile stretch of dry creek bottom. What we're doing here is like Pat said, we're just sneaking up through here, but we've got these dry creek beds, and these deer get right in the bottom of these beds, these creek beds, and then they get up against these banks into the shade. It's in the mid-70s today, and we're just going to sneak through here and see if we can spot a buck before he sees us. Mid-70s day, mid-80s tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of our hunt, so these deer will really be sucking up tight against these banks, but it's going to be tough to see them. We're just going to go slow and hope we see one, like I said, before he sees us. Come on along. As Pat reminded us, it's crucial that we spot any bucks before they spot us. For that reason, Brock and I move extra slow, glassing each and every nook and cranny. There he goes. He's going up that bank. He's turning. Hey, he's coming back. He's coming right back at us. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's coming right by us. There he goes. He's running right up the creek bottom. That deer was in him a long ways, man. There he goes. He's going up that other little fork of the dry creek bottom. Out of sight. Hey partner, what do you think?
Way to go, Greg.
Whew. Let me catch my breath. This is the 4th day of a spot and stalk mule deer hunt. I can't begin to tell you the number of giant mule deer we've seen. I'm talking giant mule deer. Got cameraman Brock Pulver here with me, hunting with Pat West, Dakota Ranch Outfitters. If you ain't doing this, you need to, as my buddy Stan Potts would say. You need to be doing this. What happened is, it's warm today, it's about 75 degrees. We saw a bunch of bucks this morning, like every morning, and we bumped some bucks, So we went into town and had lunch, and Pat and his nephew Brandon told us this. In fact, Brandon saw some bucks go in this dry creek bottom this morning. He said, why don't you just walk up through there? You're going to be walking into the wind. See if you can catch one up, moving around, move into position. We caught one standing. Actually, when he saw us, I think he saw us, he kind of flattened out a little bit. You probably saw. We stepped out from behind these cottonwoods, and I saw this white thing. Well, actually, it was the sun shining on his back. Mule deer like that don't come along very often, and I'm excited. And now we're going to go find him. So stay tuned. You're watching In Pursuit with Greg Miller. I love when a plan comes together, brother. Well, it's about 4 hours after I took the shot at the mule deer. We looked at the footage of the hit, and it appears I got one lung, and then the arrow angled back. So we watched him run quite a ways, and he's hurting, but after looking at the footage, we decided we're going to let him go for a few hours. And I shot him a little after 2 p.m., and it's a little bit after 6 p.m. now. You can tell the sun's getting lower. We found him. He's come maybe 300 yards, and he's a dandy, so come on along. You got to check out this mule deer. We knew he was good, but when we walked up on him, you know, we knew he was heavy. We knew he was fairly wide, but this is a world-class deer. And if you're chasing mule deer with a bow and arrow, you want to kill one big mule deer, this is how you want it to be. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this buck. How's that for a mule deer right there? Basic 4x4 with brows, good mass, great spread. I don't know what he is. We're going to put a tape on him. Sticker off his G2 on the left side there. Just a great deer. And I got to thank my good buddy Pat West from Dakota Ranch Outfitters and his nephew Brandon, who spotted this deer coming into this creek bottom this morning. He didn't see him actually bed, but you know, Pat and I and Brandon and Brock were having lunch, and Pat says, well, how about you guys just after lunch just slip up that creek bottom and try and find that deer in there, find one of them, because he actually saw several shooter bucks come in here. And we walked about 400 yards up the creek bottom and found him. We knew he was good, like I said, but we didn't know he was this good. This is unbelievable. Pat, I owe you, man. And Brandon. We think we may have seen this deer one other morning. We're not sure. He's got these beams that swoop up in front, and we think we actually put a stalk on this deer a couple days ago. In any event, if it is, here he is. I'm tickled to death. I'm going back to Wisconsin, a happy man. Thanks again, Pat. Dakota Ranch Outfitters. You're watching In Pursuit TV.